Boy, did they need a win like that. Let me tell you something. Man, wow. Hi. Penn State decided to wake up. Welcome back to the Penn State recap and preview show. 45-14, Penn State over the Indiana Hoosiers. Boy. Yeah, they needed a game like this, man. They needed a kick-in-the-ass game where they just say, fuck it and dominate. Because, boy, after the last couple weeks, it's been rough. And now that the season is on its downhill roller coaster with opponents you can easily beat, again, 10-2 team is not out of sight. So, let's just get into it. Penn State wins 45-14. Just pure domination over the Indiana Hoosiers. Pretty much dominating all the categories. 483 offensive yards to 196. 27 first downs. 179 rushing yards to 65. Passing yards 304 to 131. Even on the defensive end, they just dominate. Possession time is all Penn State. Third down, 7 of 16. 2 for 2 on fourth downs. And they went 6 of 7 in the red zone. God damn. It just shows that the difference between these two teams. And rightfully so. Sean Clifford, 15 for 23, 229, threw a pick and got a sack. Drew Allaire, 9 for 12, 75, 2 TDs. Katron Allen at 86 yards and 3 touchdowns. What a game for him. Nick Singleton even had a touchdown too. 73 yards for him, another TD. Theo Johnson got a receiving one of the receiving touchdowns along with Harrison Wallace III. Very nice. Yeah, so all Penn State. Nothing really much needs to be said. It was just a dominating Penn State type game, and they took it off from the start. Let me see if I can find my, look at me scrambling. Here we go, yeah. So, Singleton got the first touchdown. Indiana made it 7-7, and then it was on from there. It eventually, Penn State scored every other score except for the last, when Indiana got a late touchdown, but that was about it. So, good game, good performance. Sean Clifford just pisses me off sometimes with some of the decisions he makes. He threw a nasty interception. Just, ugh. So, not good there. But, hey, a win's a win. And, you move on. And you just try and finish off this season with a winning, trying to win every game. And that leads us to the Maryland Terrapins. Maryland coming to Beaver Stadium for the second to last home game of the year. It is their Military Appreciation Day in State College, so shout out to all the veterans out there as Veterans Day approaches. Game will be on Fox at 3:30 p.m. from Beaver Stadium. Penn State leads the all-time series 41-3-1, and when they met last year, Penn State won 31-14, thanks to a career day by wide receiver Jahan Dotson, who is now with the Washington Commanders of the NFL. Leading rushing, Nick Singleton, still the leading rusher for Penn State, even though he's been slotted to running back 2 at this point. Katron Allen is now the lead running back. Roman Hemby, leading rusher for the Maryland Terrapins for 747 yards and 7 TDs. Singleton has 669 for 8 TDs. Sean Clifford, as always, 162 for 257 on the year, over 2,000 passing yards, 16 TDs to 7 interceptions. And the Maryland quarterback, which I myself, being a Miami Dolphins fan, know who this is, Talua Tagovailoa, the younger brother of Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins. He has been the Maryland quarterback for, God, forever now. I think this is his final year. I think so. 181 for 259, 2,000 passing yards himself, 14 TDs, 6 interceptions. Leading receiver for Penn State, Parker Washington, 45 catches for 597 yards and 2 TDs. Rakeem Jarrett, the leading wide receiver for Maryland, 34 catches for 367 yards, 3 TDs. Jair Brown leading the defense. He has 3 interceptions, 52 total tackles, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hurries. And Bayou Braid leads the Maryland defense, 60 total tackles, 2 interceptions, 3 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. Very nice. So, it's weird. Penn State's favored by 10. Over-under is 59. Heavy favorites, the Nittany Lions are, as they should be. And pretty much, the season's pretty much, the hardest part of the season's been done. You got Maryland this week, at Rutgers next week, and then Michigan State. So, again, this team can go 10-2. But it's your 2 losses are to the 2 best teams in the conference. So it weighs weirdly, if you get what I mean. You went 10-2, but you lost to the 2 toughest teams in the conference, the 2 better teams in the conference, mind you. So that's going to have to take an effect when they do their projections of where Penn State will play in a bowl game. And speaking of that, I just want to end this with some early bowl projections that I'm seeing. The number 1 bowl projected right now for your Penn State Nittany Lions is the Citrus Bowl. Ole Miss, Florida, LSU, some of the opponents we could play. There is a scenario. Now, these other ones are less likely. There is a scenario where if both Michigan and Ohio State make the college football playoff, Penn State would go to the Rose Bowl. If they finish 10-2, and if both Ohio State and Michigan make the college football playoff, Penn State goes to the Rose Bowl. And their most likely opponent right now would be the Oregon Ducks. That's interesting, too. The Cotton Bowl is another one. This is the wild card bowl I'm calling. Well, if Penn State just finishes 10-2 and the committee's like, your 10-2 record, even though you lost to Michigan and Ohio State, would still throw you in the Cotton Bowl to face, as of right now, Tulane. And then last but not least, the Orange Bowl, which would be a weird one. Penn State hasn't played in the Orange Bowl in God knows how long. Maybe, I gotta think when the last time Penn State has played in the Orange Bowl. Been a while. And this would be the scenario if the two SEC teams make the college football playoff. We don't know who. They would end up facing North Carolina. These are only projections right now. None of this is official, but these are what the experts are thinking. My guess is probably the Citrus Bowl, probably against one of those 3 SEC opponents, Ole Miss, Florida, or LSU. But that all comes down to Penn State just winning your games. Your schedule has lined up perfectly. Maryland this week, Rutgers next week, Michigan State to finish out the year. You win those games, you're 10-2, and you go to a good bowl game. But also, it is about team itself. I want to see Drew Allaire get more time. James Franklin, as always, not letting him. He's up in the air about it. We'll call it like that. So, we'll have to see what happens. They should win this Saturday. I mean, it's Maryland, for crying out loud. No offense to any Terrapin fans that might be watching this, but Penn State's the better team here. They should get the W. So, I have to see what happens with that. Thank you all for watching, of course, for this one. My name is Trevor, and I will see you for the next one. We are